Tom also got lost. No navigation equipment, no idea of where he was going, no iPhone, because he'd listened to Test Match Special all the way on his phone and then cycled off into the distance on his own. I managed to contract food poisoning from eating raw meat and redecorated the side of the van. I then spent the next day in hospital getting a drip put in my arm. Why did I cycle 1,000 miles across Europe? The idea was to cycle 1,000 miles across Europe. I only made 900. I missed the whole day, for which the guys have really been kind and really nice. They haven't ribbed me at all about missing 100 miles of the ride. The bike that was given to me in my uncle Jeremy's will, that was the catalyst for the whole thing. That bike needed to go on a grand tour. We talked about doing amazing tours together, down to Barcelona, here, there, traveling across Europe together. And I felt a real desire and need to take that. And then I found out that the Hairdressers Charity Ride was also in Girona, very near Barcelona. And I thought, that's just too good an opportunity to miss. There's a reason why those two things have come together. And I started to put it out there. I said, who fancies cycling to Girona? And they're like, are you mad? But actually 9 people signed up in the end. First 400 miles and first 4 days, getting up at 3 in the morning, little Burke jumping on his bike at 4:30 to cycle 55k before he went to school. It was an amazing thing. It was an amazing thing to share with him, and it was what a very proud moment. So the second half of the main tour to Girona actually saw the 4 hardest days, 400 miles roughly, but of really serious climbing, Midi-Pyrenees, over the Black Mountain, and then the Pyrenees. Amazing cycling, my favourite ever day probably of cycling ever. And then the next day, the most ridiculously biblical storm. It was just epic. It was 6 to 8 hours of solid rain. And it was just one of those things you thought, right, we're gonna get through it.
This all crystallised around something tragic that happened this year when my friend passed away in March. I wanted to do something in his memory and to raise money for Calm, the men's mental health charity. Suicide is the biggest killer of men below the age of 45, and it's a charity that helps people in trouble but also removes some of the stigma around talking about mental health. So I'm here to raise money in my friend Callum's name and to raise money for Calm. We've raised a fantastic amount of money for charity so far, but we need to raise more, so any donation be really gratefully received, and it's for a great cause. That's why I'm riding.
At the Pickering Cancer Centre, drop-in centre, Tunbridge Wells, a good local charity that spends its money very wisely and run by volunteers, so all of the funding goes directly to those in need. For us, obviously, the Hairdressers Charity, as we were joining their ride, more recently known as the Hair and Beauty Benevolent Fund, supporting directly those hairdressers who are in need in the same way as anyone falling on hard times. So it actually gives 100% of the funding to the individuals. It's run cost-free to the charity and has given away over 1.4 million in the last 10 years. Just a huge thank you from all of us for everyone that supported, the incredibly generous donations that people have given so far. And along the way, I'm just blown away by your support. It was a huge challenge. As I say, I didn't quite make it. I did 900 miles. I promised to go out next weekend and do the other 100. But I'll give my legs a week's rest. So thank you ever so much for that. And yeah, I owe everyone 10% of their money back for that extra 100 miles I didn't do. But if anyone else wants to sponsor, we'd love to have your support. Do see the Just Giving link at the bottom and help us to raise the last 5 grand for the charities so we can give them £10,000 each.
Amazing trip.